Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Star Wars Legends podcast. Sorry we're late, but thanks to our sponsor, Apple, for updating the Geeks Attic's computer for like a good 10 minutes.
Yes.
We're here. Apple brings you lovely products that work worse than your last year's model and thermal throttle horribly. Mm-hmm. As well as phones that are at minimum $1,000 when they cost $200 to actually manufacture.
Yes. Unfortunately, our last sponsor, Comcast, did have to pull out. They had some something with the merger that they were doing with who cares? But anyway, thankfully, the MacBook Pro was able to sponsor us. So we're really grateful for you. Thank you there.
Also, Blackmagic, another show sponsor, for making an external graphics card that you can't change out. So you're just pretty much stuck with an RFX 580, which also comes stock in the MacBook Pro. So why even bother getting it? Am I right?
Right. Sorry, I've got an ugly background. Had to move my computer into a different room.
Oh, don't worry. I have a lamp. That's...
Hey.
Now, me personally, I got this beautiful stereo over here with my lovely record player and monitor speakers.
Haven't seen a stereo like that in years.
Yeah, Well, I got it years ago, and then I bought a record player, and I just set it on top of it.
Does that thing play CDs?
Oh, you know it does, and it plays old iPod when it had the white
really?
song.
Now, can I connect my Zune to it?
Yes, you'd have to use the headphone adapter on it. It's PC in, but it all works the same.
Oh, man.
All right, let's get into this. So I have a little announcement. I have to apologize. My memory card in my camera that I've currently been using corrupted, so I lost about 15 reviews that were all filmed. So now I have to film 15 reviews. I'm not even going to bother to film all the hauls that I was backed up on. There's not going to be hauls because I don't give a flying shit.
Did you at least have those reviews written down?
Oh, yeah, I have notes.
Okay.
I'll have to skim.
That's good.
But yeah, it's been an absolute nightmare and very discouraging. So...
Yeah, I've got a bunch of reviews written. Just need to film. But, time. It's hard to come by these days.
Yeah, especially when you're a dad for the third time.
About to be, yeah, I know. It's crazy.
See, what's happening here is Matt is going. He's going for the all-time record, which is currently being held by Bruce. He's getting there. He's got to work it. You got to work your way up. You one kid at a time. But
Bruce is got like 15. I don't know.
This is the last one.
Doing it, man. It's like every family photo. There's an additional 7 children added on.
He just goes to the nearest orphanage. Like, yeah, give me 7 of those. Another 3, and make it 4. Well, yeah, we'll take 4.
Oh yeah, I need to turn on the our Hangout so I can actually see people commenting.
We have one person watching, which I'm pretty sure is me, in another window, so I can look at the chat if it comes up.
Okay. Yeah, I got the chat up. People, feel free to comment whenever you want to on this. This is a live stream, and it gives us something to do. It's also called padding.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we need content is what we need.
All right, Dylan, let's talk some Twin Sons here. Let's get an update.
No, it's me. Hi, Jack. Yes, you're the other one. Yes. Twin Sons. All right. Where to begin? So we got a fundraiser thing going on right now. It's, where is it?
Dylan, who did you?
This is how organized. Don't talk about her, okay? That was a bad joke. Okay. So we have a.
Dylan likes his women like he likes his wine 9 years old and locked in the basement. Is that what's going on here?
I don't even think I've ever drank
This gets
wine.
the explicit tag.
I think I've only had whiskey like once. my 21st birthday, and then never again because I'm like, well, this doesn't taste good. Anyway, so yeah, Twin Sons currently has a fundraiser going on right now. The goal is to raise $1,700 in order to do two donation events. One is going to be in the Pittsburgh area at a children's hospital. The other is going to be in San Francisco. So around of the $1,700, around $800 is going to purchase Star Wars Legends books for each event to be passed out to the kids who will be going to the events, and then the remaining $100 is just to cover operation and legal fees and PayPal fees and all that sort of stuff. So we are currently at 1,135 out of 1,700, so about 2/3 of the way there. We have 1 day left on the fundraiser as it stands, but that is 1 day left for the Billboard Challenge, which is if we are able to make our goal by the end of today, which doesn't look like it's going to happen, but if it does, for the next 30 days where we'll be continuing to run our fundraiser, half the total that we raise at that point will go to a fund which will be used to purchase a billboard at some point in the future, most likely not till 2020 at the earliest, maybe even later than that. But if we don't make our goal by the end of tonight, then it'll just for the remaining 30 days, we'll just keep raising funds until we hit 1,700. Then the extra funds will all of it will go to buying more books from the kids, rather as half of it going to buy more books, and the other half going to billboard. Additionally, if we do make it by the end of tonight, I'll be adding 10 books to the pot to the San Francisco event, which is the one that I'm going to be going to. So, yeah, that's it. Winston's fundraiser, $10 is a book to a kid. We need money. We need to keep the lights on. We need to keep the lights on. We need to get more books.
The struggle of running a charity, right there.
Yeah, we currently have enough for the Pittsburgh one, which is happening first. That won't be happening in October. The San Francisco one won't be happening till December, so we have time to raise the funds. But at present, we're only going to be able to bring 23 books to the San Francisco one, which is no bueno. I mean, 23 books. That's like a new Jedi Order. That's nothing. I mean, I need to be rolling into San Francisco like the why can't I hold all these limes guy? Like, oh, there's so many, I can't. Oh, here, take them. 23 is going to be like, what's the big deal? We're past 23. We need more books. Anyway, that's 20 stuff. Rambling on.
I forgot what was happening.
So this podcast is. We also had another announcement that Jeremy has started his early onset Alzheimer's. So
it's actually I'm addicted to Ambien. Didn't you know?
Okay. Well, it's the two that are happening at the same time. Your Ambien addiction has led to you getting early onset Alzheimer's. So now it's just it's just really bad. I'm pretty sure he forgot his own name 2 seconds ago.
It's all right, I run 2 train wreck podcasts. Mm-hmm. I also run a podcast called the Backpedalers Podcast. Go check it out. New episode coming out this week, titled "Dat Booty Be National Treasure."
What?
It is exactly what you think it's about.
Ed Jack, 1999. You're not wrong, okay? You just said that the cast is larger than the audience.
Jesus Christ. All right. Should we get into some Comic-Con talk?
Sure. So I guess Del Rey and Lucas Books, which are 2 different companies. I didn't know this. Until recently.
Lucas Books runs the children's and young adult stuff.
Yes.
They're actually a lot easier to deal with if you want a review copy, unless you're me and they don't like to work with you.
And then Del Rey does I knew Del Rey did the adult stuff, but I thought DK did the young adult thing. But apparently they just do the children's.
DK
does the guide, and that's about it now.
Yeah.
Disney Lucasfilm Press does the young adult novels, and do they do Adventures in Wild Space?
Disney Lucasfilm Press does that. Yes.
Okay.
Abrams books, they do the art books, which is a newer thing.
Right.
They've only done that for the last 3 movies, I believe.
No, they did for all the new canon movies.
All the new canon material. Yeah, they have these.
And they released. I'm looking right now because I have them right over here. We have the storyboards for the prequels and the original trilogy, which I highly recommend if you're into any sort of Star Wars film memorabilia to go check those out. It's not necessarily like the art books that they do for the new movies, where that's mainly concept art. This is primarily storyboard. But there's some really good stuff, especially in the prequel era. If I'm not mistaken, they do have a little concept art in there, like with the Nubian starfighters and stuff. Very good stuff. Would recommend.
See, yeah. Well, I guess we can. I don't know. What should we start? Well, let's start with. Disney Lucasfilm Press announced that they're going to be releasing next year in March Queen Shadow by E.K. Johnson, an author I've not heard of. I don't know if they've done anything in canon yet.
She wrote the Ahsoka novel.
Okay.
And she wrote in it from a certain point of view.
Well, like everyone wrote in it from a certain point of view.
That's not true. They did not get a whole lot of good writers in it from a certain point of view. There is no Zahn, for instance, in there, or Kevin J. Anderson, or our favorite Karen Traviss is not in there.
Well, all the new people are in it.
Yeah. Yeah, Wendig was in it, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think they're starting. Yeah, they're going to be digging up all those authors to write their new books, I think. I don't know if we're going to see any more James Luceno, honestly. Or Paul S. Kemp.
Yeah.
We're not seeing Paul S. Kemp anymore.
Paul S. Kemp is too busy tweeting political things to write any novels anymore, let's be honest.
Yeah.
He's more of a journalist at this point.
Somehow Wendig, he needs to take the Wendig model, because somehow Wendig is able to actually balance the two a little bit. A little bit of politics, a little bit of writing. I mean, it does. With Wendig's case, it does kind of, from what I've heard, show up in his writing. But he can at least get by.
Nauseating at times when it shows up in Wendig's writing.
I mean, you guys were talking about it earlier, weren't you?
Oh, no. What happened earlier, for those of you who don't know, which is all of you, I changed out 2 toilets today, and we got dirty water on the floor, and Geeks Attic said, "Oh, that's shitty." And then Dylan's like, "Oh, you talking about Aftermath?" Even though the book's been out for the last 2 years ago now, and he's still making jokes about it.
The only time you guys ever talk like that is when you're talking about Wendig or Aftermath. So I just see it in the chat, like, oh, are they rereading Aftermath for some reason? I don't know.
I talked that way about Phasma, I'll tell you that.
Man, Phasma's
bad and doesn't get enough attention for being bad, in my opinion.
Yeah. The author was also an erotica novelist. Did you know that?
Yeah, you told me.
Kind of weird that they went after one of those writers for a Star Wars book.
What? They didn't come out as much. No pun intended. Where there wasn't porno in Phasma, as I recall. There's some gross stuff in Phasma. It gets a little Mad Maxy gnarly.
Yeah.
But Aftermath Life Debt had porno in it. Interspecies erotica, as it were.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
I don't want that in my Star Wars book.
Neither do I.
Didn't they contract Joe Schreiber to write a young adults book?
Yes, they did.
Is that still on? Is he still
Solo a Star Wars Story junior novel.
Why isn't he writing the adult novel as well? I'd love to see Joe Schreiber write an adult Star Wars novel again, especially something that's underworld stuff. Mm-hmm. If you've read Mall Lockdown, that's
preferably in a prison. That's his bread and butter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if it's
I was glad to
prison,
see that he's
it has
back.
the undead in it. That'd
Yeah.
be cool.
Or maybe mix it up a little bit. Have like a Sith Academy. You know,
No, that's his worst book.
I liked it.
Dylan, roofie that. Use a ragum.
I learned how to chloroform yesterday. Okay. You have any idea how expensive that stuff is?
Man. Put it in one of those Vicks humidifiers.
Humidifiers.
You put a little. You put some towels under the door.
Anyway, so back to Queen Shadow. Yeah,
We
it's
didn't even get to there yet.
well. I said it was by E.K. Johnson. I asked if she did anything. Then we got off in a tangent. So what do you guys think of? What do you guys think of? Since you two are the ones that are actually going to be reading this, and I'm just, I guess, trying to play host.
So, my opinion. I talked about this with Jedi Master Daniel the other day. My opinion of the new canon is this: I'm sick of Rebellion era stuff, and I'm sick of between the dark times between episode 3 and 4. They've done it to death. They just need to leave it alone. I really want to see some prequel material because what we've gotten that's right around the episode 1 and 2 era is garbage. Absolutely trash. We got, what was that, Obi-Wan and Anakin comic with the mechs, which was absolutely horrible with weird kind of good art.
Yeah.
And we had that Yoda story in the main Star Wars comic that did literally nothing to Yoda's character and sucked.
That was pretty bad. Like mountain giants.
Mountain giants. It reminded me of when Peter Jackson said in The Hobbit, you know, the giants that are throwing the stones at each other, why don't we make them rocks and they're throwing themselves at each other? That's a good idea. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, I didn't know what other type of junior novel they could really do because all these I said junior novel, YA novel, they all have like romance involved. And to me, like I can't think of any other except for the Ahsoka. That didn't have any romance, did it?
No, Rebel Rising didn't. Rebel Rising had a tiny bit.
Right. It has the relationship aspect, so you can have some sort of
just barely, just so we could humanize her a little more.
Yeah.
But I consider Rebel Rising and Lost Stars to be the gold standard of these YA novels. I mean, let's be honest. I think both of those. I know Rebel Rising's like my third best of these new canon books, and I know Lost Stars is way up there for you.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
I like Lost Stars a lot more than I thought I was going to because the premise sounded like YA barf, but it's actually really, really well written.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm okay with this. If they do have a romance, they can talk about that artist she was into.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too when you started talking about it.
I mean, it's ripping off a Tales comic, but it wasn't a good Tales comic.
But the problem with that is she said that they broke up because she got into politics. And when this book is taken place, she's already in politics, she's already queen, so I think that more happens before queen than after, where this is from queen to senator, I think they said. It's between 1 and 2, right?
Yeah, that's what it appears to be. Again, didn't read too much into it. Because I was more focused on the other one of these that was announced,
which we'll get to.
But this, I'm okay with it. I still need to read Ahsoka. Mainly, I got burnt out on Clone Wars, which we'll get into later. But Ahsoka's the only one I haven't read.
You don't need to.
YA. I know I don't.
It's so bad. Well, I mean, some people like it.
The Legends of Luke Skywalker, which was really just randomly boring.
It's far out there.
I think I can sit through this one.
Yeah.
Plus, I got a road trip coming up. Might be something I listen to in the car.
It'd probably be better to listen to than to actually read.
Yeah, that's or I finally read Dark Disciples.
Well, you said you did read that one?
I haven't.
You
It's
haven't?
that and A New Dawn. Those are like the 3 new canon books that aren't like kids novels.
Those were like some of the first ones. That was like 1 in 5, I think.
A New Dawn was the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, I only recently sat through read Tarkin and Heir to the Jedi. I think that was earlier this year.
Yeah, that was a bad
Tarkin
book.
was James Luceno, so
Tarkin was a lot better than I thought it'd be.
Yeah.
it was James Luceno.
It was James Luceno, and he threw a bunch of EU in there, and I wonder what they thought of that.
Well, I was actually at Celebration 2015 in Anaheim, which was like right after that book came out. I was at one of the panels, and it's like, yeah, we know about their web references. We were aware. There were more references that got cut, but we were aware of them. So
yeah, that's the one where you went. That was the one you went to, and you got that Alan Dean Foster signature for me, right?
Yeah, and I got my copy of the Essential Reader's Companion signed by Leland G. and Pablo Hidalgo. sorry. Just kind of brag a little bit there.
The cast is larger than the audience. Yeah, it really.
No, it's not. There's 3 of them now. We're equal. Like, there's 2 now. Right as I said that.
2.
Right as I said that, it went from 3 to 2.
God.
To you who just closed out of YouTube, fair played. Well played, sir. Even though there's a delay.
But yeah, no, I'm excited enough for this. Like I said, E.K. Johnston, I think, based on her little story she had in, from a certain point of view, wasn't terrible. It was boring, but Ashley Eccleston insisted on writing it with her, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'll read it.
I'll read it. Yeah, maybe they'll send us review copies. I doubt it.
I don't know. We'll see.
They're getting fucking difficult with that.
Yes.
Where was the other one? I just had it.
Last time you got a review copy from them?
From Del Rey?
No,
from Lucasfilm Press?
Yeah.
What was the last release?
Last Shot?
That's Del Rey.
No, that was Del Rey.
You're thinking Most Wanted. And
I did get that one, but it was like after I purchased it, because they never sent it. So I was like, I'm just going to go pick this up. And then a week later, it shows up at my door.
So you have 2 copies?
So, well, I took it back.
Oh, okay.
So, get my money back. But, yeah, they're getting a little stingy now.
Yeah. The last copy I got from them, I got Guardians of the Wills. Well, you remember that because we coordinated our reviews so we wouldn't lose each
other at the same time.
Yeah. But let's get into the other prequel book that was announced.
Yeah,
you want to do that one first, or the solo novelization? Because they announced that one too.
If you want to talk about that,
I mean, it's from Mur Lafferty. She wrote, or he.
Well, I don't know.
She wrote a short story for Star Wars in one of the Star Wars Insider magazines, and it was actually pretty decent. It was the Voice of the Empire. It was during the time of Rogue One.
Is it the one with Orson Krennic in it?
He is in it.
Okay, I have read that one.
Okay,
I don't remember it.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to this novelization because it's an expanded edition, kind of like the Last Jedi. There's going to be a lot more. There's going to be a lot more material, which I think they're going to be trying to fix some things that people might have been unhappy about.
That cinematography.
No,
that was my old. That and the Darth Maul cameo were the only 2 things I had a problem with in that movie.
That was a little weird for me too.
Yeah, but I don't know. The expanded edition of Last Jedi I found appalling. Like, there was a ton of garbage that I was shocked they filmed for Last Jedi, and looking at the deleted scenes, they filmed most of that. I'm embarrassed.
I haven't even watched the film since it came out. Like, I started to watch it, got halfway through, then turned it off.
So what you're saying is, Jeremy, that the editor of that movie actually deserves some praise?
I'm saying that editor didn't do a good enough job.
Okay.
I'm saying that it was some Peter Jackson type editing from those Hobbit movies and that Last Jedi movie. That movie didn't need to be 2.5 hours long. It should have been 90 minutes. I think you could get a solid, good 90-minute movie out of that. And it'd be the shortest Star Wars movie ever, but, yeah. I would have been
okay. The Clone Wars movie.
The Clone Wars movie is not a film.
I thought you were going to say we don't speak of the Clone Wars movie.
It's not a movie.
Never seen it.
Don't
plan on ever seeing it.
Oh, God. We'll talk about that. We will get into how awful 2008 was for me. But anyway.
We have 4 people watching now.
Joe Schreiber's going to write the young adult novelization of Solo, and I'm more excited for that.
Yeah, I'm going to pick that one up too.
If you don't get this, Joe Schreiber basically wrote, with the exception of the Galaxy of Fear series, every horror novel in the EU. And is now writing a children's novel.
He wrote 3 of the nastiest, most graphic Star Wars books of all time. And they're beautiful. And
Del Rey went, you seem like the perfect person to write a children's novel.
He does Zombie Tauntaun and a Zombie Nettie. That's a tree. It was a zombie tree alien.
He had Darth Maul rip a Wampa's heart out.
Yeah.
With his bare hands.
The way he describes things is more gruesome and disgusting than I think seeing it in a movie or something. It's just so gross.
The audiobooks for Joe Schreiber's books are massive.
They're amazing. They're amazing.
So disgusting. The
Death Troopers.
Flat and carnage sounds they throw in there.
They're great.
They're used the best because they use them, especially now with the new canon, with punching sounds are really wet sounding. In the audiobooks, I was listening to Last Shot and they had a splat sound and I'm like, oh, that's someone got punched to the nose.
Again, in Joe Schreiber
off.
In Joe Schreiber it works because he punched him so hard that 3 teeth fell out and his entire jaw got dislocated. Crunching bone like a wet again, the sound effects work for him because his dialogue his writing is so graphic that it's exactly how that wet hurtling is how you would sound after getting punched like that, I guess.
So there's
So he's writing a children's book. So all of you parents who are watching, feel free to get your kid that book.
Moms of America. This is the book for you. But can we get into this other prequel?
The Jedi Apprentice knockoff.
I'm thinking it's going to be it's an Obi-Wan Qui-Gon book by Claudia Gray, which I've wanted since From a Certain Point of View, with her beautiful story with Obi-Wan talking to Qui-Gon's spirit. I've wanted the Obi-Wan Qui-Gon book. And the theory right now is, because there's not a lot about it that we know, is it's going to be the year Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan were on Mandalore. That's referenced in the Clone Wars. So we'd have Obi-Wan and Satine's romance talked about, which is perfect. I think Claudia Gray would handle that perfectly and wouldn't make me want to barf. I'm so happy.
Yeah, she knows how to write characters very well. Very well.
I mean, if she weaved in Jedi Apprentice little cameos in there, a little Xanatos cameo, for instance, would be nice. I doubt that would happen. Matthew, you didn't know that Qui-Gon had a previous apprentice in the EU.
No, not until just recently.
Yeah, that's a sad storyline.
And you said those were in kids' books?
Yes, Jude Watson's Jedi Apprentice series deals with Xanatos as an ongoing villain throughout the series, through most of the series, I should say. he is Qui-Gon's apprentice, and he goes to the dark side and becomes a dark Jedi, and they have many encounters with him. Xanatos ends up getting an apprentice named Brooke Chun, which ends up being Obi-Wan's nemesis for a while. It's a good storyline.
Does his fate ever get wrapped up?
Xanatos's?
Yeah.
Yes, it is wrapped up in Jedi Apprentice. Also, if you wanted some Qui-Gon Xanatos Master and Apprentice storyline, there was a short-lived comic at the end of Dark Horse's reign, just called Jedi: The Dark Side, and it's a 5-issue series. I think it was supposed to be an ongoing, but it never went past 5 issues, where it got canceled. And it talks about that.
Okay.
So I have one more thing. If we wrapped up on that topic,
Yeah.
I'm going to send this. I'm going to send this to you guys in the Star Wars Reviewers chat, and I'm going to read it out loud for the audience. This is a tweet by Chuck Wendig that he made about 3 days ago. The problem with canon is that it demands viewing story as a series of rigorously tested data points. It demands that we view stories as pieces as historically true, which is weird because A, it's fiction, and B, even real-ass history is full of wild, ragged contradictions and retcons. I just remembered that. That was her in like the amongst people who follow canon.
I've had that sent to me recently. I've avoided talking about it because it's Chuck Wendig, and I don't.
Yeah,
Contrary to belief, I don't like talking about Chuck Wendig. I know he gets brought up on a regular basis.
I just like its content. You get so angry that it entertains our audience. I've got to egg you guys on to bring out the entertainment.
I mean, he's also tweeted out like, "Hey, just write crap." He uses other words.
Yeah,
and then he's just like, I just write crap and then I produce a story. So he everything he writes is crap, you know.
I mean,
he doesn't really care.
He bragged about writing Aftermath in 45 days, and it shows that it was written in 45 days.
Yeah,
it's superbly terrible, infamous.
Yep.
Among the fan base, I don't think anyone that wasn't on Tashi Station or wasn't paid off liked Aftermath. It's just a theory I have.
I've actually seen a lot of praise for Aftermath.
Were they paid?
No, that's just on like
which were banned.
No, in like Facebook groups. Well, I'm sorry about that, by the way.
Yeah, that is yours. And what? Who was it?
To be fair, he would have banned us anyway.
Yeah, no, I want to be banned on my own terms, not because you're talking about stabbing memes.
He never even said we were going to stab him.
Insert convention that we had no tickets to.
Aftermath has 3 stars on Amazon right now.
Yeah, probably because it got paid.
Yeah, and didn't he complain that they deleted all the positive comments and stuff?
Yeah, because they weren't verified purchases.
Yeah, but when you go to I'm on the mobile right now, and it's just like I scroll down to the reviews. The first review has 5 stars, and everything below that has 1 star and 2 stars. It's just. That 3-star thing is fake. It should be 2.
I wonder if Amazon is like Rotten Tomatoes, where they don't count half stars.
Yeah, they don't do the half-star thing.
Yeah. Well, Rotten Tomato has the half-star review, but they never count it.
Mm.
Or else pretty much any Kevin Smith movie post Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back would get a half star.
Or Adam Sandler movie after Click.
Adam Sandler movie after Billy Madison. I'm sorry. I really don't like Adam Sandler movies unless it's 8 Crazy Nights, and I don't like that one, but I like to quote that one, if that makes any sense. I can't sit through all of 8 Crazy Nights, but man, I will do the Whitey Duvall voice at work to upset my coworkers. But yeah.
You don't like it? Vinny Nexus says, I hate Winnick's response. He was like, you don't like it because it has gay people. And it's like, no, we don't like it because you're an awful writer. Well done for blaming homophobia.
Well, I mean, okay, so my thing when he said that, I have no problem with gay characters in Star Wars. Not at all. What I have a problem with is when their character is identified by their sexual preference.
Yeah. Why do we need to know this stuff? You know,
and it's only that. Like, okay, so there's a character. It's Sinjir's boyfriend in Aftermath. This Aftermath sequel shows up in Last Shot, and he has a character in Last Shot.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, and it's reference, oh yeah, Sinjir, blah blah blah, my boyfriend.
Yeah,
that was fine. I had no problem with that.
I just think it's goofy when they do that because it'd be, you know, let's introduce everybody, and then it'd be the gay character is, and then he's gay. This is the way they bring it up, you know.
And the thing is, this Chuck Wendig's not the only one who did that. Paul S. Kemp did that too. And
I think that was the first one. That was the first one, wasn't it? The first time they introduced the homosexual character.
Which was like it was a.
Yeah, nobody cared.
No one cared.
That was the one that was like the joke, where like the guy was hitting on her, and she's like, "Oh no, I don't swing that," or like something like that.
Yeah,
it was played off as like a joke of like to get him to stop hitting on her or something. Is that correct?
Yeah,
I haven't read it.
In Aftermath, it's reversed. Yeah, the Zabrak is Jazz is hitting on Sinjir, and Sinjir's like, I don't like women. It's like didn't.
Yeah.
Just like that. It's not actually a drum sound. It's me saying it. It's like
where was that where they're saying they needed creative freedom? Anyway,
Dylan, finally used the ether like I told you to. It's awfully quiet on your end.
Did I mute myself by accident? No.
Oh, I wish you did.
I know, right? Same here.
God.
So also, before we get into the big topic, as we are almost an hour this now, we've been rambling.
We've padded it out enough.
Well, we have one more, and that's the Hasbro announced that they're going to release a 3.75 Darth Revan figure for the the vintage collection.
Cool.
And it's got some people a little bit riled up. Like, for example, well, one of the purest and like most accurate, trustworthy news sources in the action figure community, Jedi Temple Archives, who are famous for being able to put their own personal opinions and biases to the side and at the door, coming at things completely honestly. Just real guys that that when you send them an email about something, that they are going to take it very seriously and not going to immediately delete it. They're not happy, as well as a lot of other people, because it's basically, from what they've showed, is a repackaging of the 2007 one, the 30th anniversary Revan figure.
Oh, okay.
So it's almost
like $100.
Well, the only thing that they're doing is they're releasing all these previous figures in new packaging.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
You know what? I would care about that, but Lucasfilm's been doing that since Attack of the Clones.
Yeah,
they slightly update the faces, and that's it. Like I could from the Attack of the Clones line from 2002. Was when they fully got articulated. If you remember, I don't know, you were in college by then, I think.
I was still waiting in line at midnight at Walmart getting some toys. Yeah.
Okay. But with Dylan and I were kids, I remember it was a big difference from the Kenner. That's right when Hasbro took over. Was right around 2002, because I think the Phantom Menace figures were still Kenner figures.
The vintage figures have the Kenner logo on them.
Well, yeah, because Hasbro owns Kenner.
Yeah.
but like it was right around that time that all the appendages got articulated, which then Disney bought them out and they stopped being articulated. Go figure.
Yeah. Well,
But
it's cheaper to
didn't
make
really,
them unarticulated.
the Stormtrooper, for instance, looked the same when the original trilogy got released on DVD to when the 30th anniversary Star Wars figures came out. It was like the exact same figure. So I have no problem with it. They've been doing it for years and no one's really complained.
Well, it's the collectors who are complaining because they don't get a new figure add to their collection. But I mean, it's toys. Lego's been doing this where they have sets that they'll just re-release every X number of years, and it's so that people who either weren't alive or weren't active in the community, weren't able to get those figures or sets X number of years ago, have another shot at getting that set and or figure.
It also, having it hang there in the toy aisle, little kids, new people, into Star Wars see that and like, who's that? And then they discover Legends.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there was actually a great video. It's like a 1-minute video. You can look it up as like collector series Revan. It's like a 1-minute video of a guy scrolling through all the eBay listings of the original 2007 Revan figure for like $200. Then like at the end, it smash cuts to the new one. It's like $12.99. Like Hasbro is basically like undercutting the market. Like Hasbro has to see like, wow, this figure is going for $200 online. We could literally re-release it and
take all the money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can release it for pennies, and people will buy it. It's like, what do you think they're going to do?
So haven't they talked about other Legends figures?
I saw a thing where they were going to bring back the pole next year, right?
Next year? I haven't seen anything about that, but if that's true, that's great.
I'm pretty sure I saw a tweet about that.
Yeah, well, I know you all know they screwed up the pole last year.
Which Dr. Aphra is actually getting released this year. And actually, I've seen conflicting things. I've seen where she's in a 3-pack with like a killer version of R2-D2 and C-3PO, apparently.
Yeah, from the Darth
I've
Vader.
Seen her on her. I've seen her on her own.
That's a special San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
Okay.
From what I did a little research, believe it or not, because this is not my specialty when collecting. I'm not really into the toy collecting aspect. It's, in my opinion, it's money I don't have, and it's just going to collect dust. I have a few figures, but nowhere near compared to my book collection. But that seems like it was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. It was a cool little throwback to the original figures.
Again, I wasn't sure because I saw both of them. Like, oh, are they coming out with like both? Or okay, so that makes sense. If the 3-pack's a Comic-Con exclusive, then they'll just have the single figure for the people that voted for her, I guess.
And this is Black Series, right?
Yeah, this is Black Series.
Yeah.
Well, it's vintage. It's vintage. Dr. Aphra won the Vintage Series collection, so she'll be one of the Vintage 3.75, not 6-inch. Or I should say she won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't need to get into that, Dylan. You did that enough on Princess of the Universe. There's like a...
No, at Princess of the Universe, I kept saying how they haven't made the poll yet, even though they were like a week late at that point.
Dylan, that was a year ago. You're the only one who cares at this point. We've just accepted it as bullshit. I get that it sucks, but
you got to keep bringing it up. You got to remind them. You got little reminders every now and then.
Okay,
this
Dylan.
is good for content.
Dylan, let's get into Clone Wars.
I was going to ask a question real quick about the figures, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay.
What Black Series figure do you want them to make?
A Darth Kaitis, so that way I have one to sit next to my Jaina Solo. Or Jason from New Jedi Order. Either or, I'm okay with.
Pass. There's so many.
I'd like to see Darth Malgus.
Yeah, Darth Malgus would be cool. I had the chance to buy a Darth Malgus when the Black Series had the 3.75. I also had the opportunity to buy a Bastila at the same time, and I didn't buy either, and they sold out.
Mm.
I'd like a Plagueis too.
That'd be cool too. But we don't know if he's Snoke yet. He might be Snoke.
Stop that.
Kill Snoke.
That's one thing I liked about Last
he's
Jedi
done.
is that they didn't care about
Anything.
fucking.
Actually, wait a
Snoke.
minute. Hold on. They didn't kill him. The last guy in Star Wars that they cut in half came back. So
He had his like eyes rolled up and his tongue hanging out. I think that's a death face.
I don't know. Maul fell down. Fell down like a
huge shaft.
A huge shaft to like. I think that was like a refining facility or something.
Yeah, God. Let's get into it. This is a good segue into the travesty that is Dave Filoni's Clone Wars. Now, have
Dave
we
Filoni announced
dedicated an episode to talking about Filoni's Clone Wars before?
We've dedicated about 10 to 30 minutes of every podcast so far.
But have we overall discussed the good that's in his podcast? I know Matt Wilkins has defended some of it before on here, but yeah. Well, let's just get into it. Geeks Addicts never watched most of it, if not any of it.
Like 1.5 seasons.
Okay,
and I just couldn't stay with it. I've tried twice.
Dylan, how far did you get?
I don't remember because I watched them when they were coming out, like episode by episode, but I missed there was a lot of Fridays that I missed, so I feel confident in saying I've seen about 90% of the first 3 to 4 seasons.
Okay.
But that was like years ago when they were first coming out. I haven't rewatched a lot of them.
Okay, I've seen all of it at this point.
The only Clone Wars that exist to me are the Legends Clone Wars.
Microseries?
What's his name?
Genndy Tartakovsky.
There we go. That's my Clone Wars.
Genndy Tartakovsky stuff is fun. To me, Clone Wars will always be what Dark Horse made it. Just disgusting, hellish war where the Jedi got wrecked. And it was sad. But hey, Mace Windu doing kung fu on super battle droids is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Clone Wars is coming back for some reason.
Well, no, it's not for some reason. So I think
money.
Did I say this in this chat? Yeah, money. No. But I mean, Clone Wars coming back. Clone Wars coming back was to me a foregone conclusion years ago because it's like Dave Filoni still works at Lucasfilm and is like the head of all the TV and animation stuff.
Which he wants. How he's still employed.
I don't know, but he still wants. He wanted Clone Wars. He was. I won't say he was behind the Save the Clone Wars, but he definitely knew of and tried to shout them out. If you've seen Rebels, a lot of what he did in Rebels was trying to appease.
Parts of Rebels is when the Clone Wars gets referenced.
But again, he put a lot of Clone Wars stuff to try to appease those fans. And let's be honest, right now, of all the big faces at Lucasfilm, surprisingly, Dave Filoni is the one everyone still trusts. And
that offends me on so many levels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you know,
so
the one-eyed man is king of the blind.
Fair enough. So we'll just talk about the trailer briefly because Dylan didn't watch it.
I don't want to give it my view.
Matthew, did you watch it?
I did watch it.
Okay. So basically, it was clones and a bunch of helmets for a while. And then Anakin and Obi-Wan walk up to a projector, and there's Ahsoka hanging out with Death Watch.
Yeah, that was the climax of the trailer, too. For some reason, I don't understand.
Why is Ahsoka hanging out with Death Watch? Is that supposed to make Ahsoka a cool character now? Because she isn't, despite what people say. Ahsoka's... Okay, I'll be honest. Ahsoka's fine in Rebels. Because she's not in a whole lot. And she doesn't act like the brat she is in Clone Wars. That's the worst part of Clone Wars is her smart mouth, disgusting attitude. She sucks. Sucks at pretty much everything. but somehow gets on top. It's like Jar Jar, but a Jedi.
Well, she has the +10 plot armor.
Yeah, she held her own against General Grievous. How is that possible?
Yeah. We get F's in chat for Nadar Veb.
Jedi Masters got killed by General Grievous.
A Jedi Master got killed by General Grievous.
It
was just Adi Gallia. Not Adi Gallia. Shoot, who was it? Adi Gallia was the one who originally got killed by Grievous in the Clone Wars comic. In the Clone Wars comic, right?
No, she doesn't get killed. She gets horribly maimed.
Okay, I remember Grievous killed someone in the Clone Wars comics, and then that person didn't actually die and killed someone different.
Oh, God. Well, also, we have to talk about the General Grievous miniseries that introduced him. He kills a bunch of Jedi Knights in that.
General Grievous episode.
General Grievous used to be like a menacing character until Dave Filoni got a hold of him, and then he was a joke.
Yeah.
Gotta go, Matt?
I do.
All right.
I guess the best time to go is during the Clone Wars talk.
Yeah. All right.
I'll go try to watch it again, and then I'll check back in whenever I finish that. I don't know.
Don't do it to yourself.
I probably won't. I do want to watch Rebels, though. I've heard great things about that.
Dylan, you need to use another ragum. All right. We'll see you later, dude.
Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right. So let's officially get into the good of Clone Wars. Because there is some good. I don't think we give it enough credit. There are certain things that were done well in Clone Wars. Right, Dylan?
Yeah. I liked I did like the Umbara arc. I remember one that was, it was again, to your point of the dark and gritty Clone Wars, it had a very Battle of Beam feel to it. Mm-hmm. It was along the same lines. It was almost the same, actually, now I think about it, it was almost the exact same story. The clones and the Jedi go to an island, go to a planet where the Separatists are mostly being supplemented by an organic fighting force that just hates them and they have trouble. Minus the, spoiler alert, the fact that one of the Jedi Masters in the Clone Wars cartoon is actually evil. But
yeah, that was a good arc. There's Fives' overall storyline I liked. It was the only overarching storyline that I really got into in Clone Wars.
Yeah, it was from the original cadets. It was Five and Echo that survived that, right?
Yeah.
And Fives ended up being the overall survivor because I think Echo died at one point. One of them died.
And then Fives gets killed in Lost Missions?
Does he?
Yeah, Fives chip malfunctions, and he finds out the plot that Sidious has on the Jedi.
Okay. I thought he showed up in Rebels, but I haven't seen Rebels, so I don't know.
Or that could be Echo. I honestly want... Oh, God. I know Rex shows up in... Rex is the main one that's continually shows up in Rebels, but there were a couple others. Wolf's one of them.
Yeah. So there was because I always see three of them. So maybe that other one was.
That's only one episode, though, that they're in. Well, granted, I haven't started season 4 because it comes out next week on Blu-ray, and I'm probably going to pick it up and binge watch it.
I thought the only good arc was Ahsoka's when she leaves because it was the only time she was mature.
No, that was a bad arc. I thought that was horribly done. That was the arc where Luminari's Padawan. What was her name?
Yeah, Bar Zofri, when she ended up being a traitor
for no reason.
Which totally doesn't literally retcon the entire Clone Wars multimedia project because of language.
When she
gave her death. Yeah,
she died on Kashyyyk, didn't she? No, Luminari died on Kashyyyk.
No, she She was killed Order 66. She was killed by an ATTE. Again, on the front lines fighting droids. So, I mean...
Yeah, she was... Yeah.
So...
Then again, even Peel died in the Tartakovsky's Clone War... Not, in Filoni's Clone Wars when he's gunned down in Coruscant Nights in the middle of the street. We talked about that not too long ago.
Yeah. But again, there's the...
That arc, aside from that wasn't a bad arc where Tarkin and Anakin finally first meet. And you see the partnership begin. That part of that arc's good. A lot of the solo clone stuff is good.
Even that first meeting might be a retcon because getting into...
Don't they meet in Outbound Flight? Then?
I think they meet in Rogue Planet because...
That's right, they do.
Anakin and Obi-Wan are going to Sonoma Zakat, and Tarkin has also interest in it too. So I haven't gotten to the point where they meet, but they're both in the same story, and they're both going to the same place. So,
oh gosh, I forgot about Rogue Planet.
For the Clone Wars retcons, you need only look to page 353 of the Force and Destiny Beginner Guide. The second paragraph with Colonial Tribute. For example, I intercepted a mandate from officials on Cardia ordering that all records in their military academies pertaining to the history of the Clone Wars undergo, quote, review for intellectual purity, unquote, by a dozen Compner agents. Well, I can only guess what kind of intellectual purity Compner wants to produce. It's got me wondering if there's some information about the events in the Clone Wars they're worried someone might read. So, yeah, it's been retconned. Don't worry. It all makes sense. Clone Wars is as canon.
So, trying to think of other good Clone Wars stories. Cad Bane.
Yeah, that was he was an interesting villain. Kind of Grievous in Clone Wars, where he was built up, but I felt lost too frequently.
Yeah, the fact that he gets the jump on Obi-Wan, who's a council member, that was a little much. But I liked him overall as a character. I liked that they had each Jedi had their own saber fighting style.
Yeah, they actually credit where credit is due. They did in the animation for the fight scenes. They did actually take care to animate the Jedi so that they had their correct styles. So the Surisu Jedi that had Surisu would use a Surisu type style, and the Tarus were used a Taru, and so on and so forth. So they did take special care to put that in, which, I mean,
most people wouldn't get that, but for those who did, it's nice.
Even if you didn't get it, you would. Even I was like, "Oh, it's cool." The Jedi are fighting kind of differently from each other.
Mm-hmm. But there's a ton of terrible in Clone Wars. I mean, we got the episode with the Blue Shadow virus. You remember that one from season 1? Was that season 1 or was that season 2? When we go to Naboo and Padme and Ahsoka get the Blue Shadow virus that they're going to release on the Republic. And it's like, oh, Jar Jar's acting zany. That goes for every Jar Jar episode. Is the worst episode ever. Which, by the way, how many voice actors voiced Jar Jar in that series? There had to at least be 3.
I don't know. Oh, the time when I think it's again first season when the Republic decides to send 3 Venator cruisers against a Lucrehulk battle cruiser and 2 Maleficents. This is not going to go badly at all.
Well, remember the Poison Tea episode?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same one, or the Cake Topper episode?
Yeah.
No, you didn't watch Lost Missions, and I think D Squad, the droid squad, was in Lost Missions. That's bad.
I'm just thinking of bad plot points. I think the most egregious retcon ever was I forget what the episode's name was, but when they go to Grievous's lair and Kit Fisto gets dust in his eyes and he blinks.
Oh God, he blinks all the time. He blinks all the time in the show.
Don't have eyelids. It's like the most OCD. It's the most OCD thing I have. But come on, man, it's my favorite alien species, and they get it wrong.
That same episode
don't have eyelids.
That same episode contradicts Labyrinth of Evil with Grievous says, "I chose to be this way," which is not true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is that he was like, it's either that or I die.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what they in canon. Isn't that the difference between Grievous's backstory and Legends canon? As I believe, is in Legends he was betrayed by Dooku and they turned him into a robot to keep him alive. Whereas in canon he chose to compete with a Jedi better.
In Legends, he falls out of favor with the Republic because his people were in a civil war with this other people, and the Republic sides with them. And he's in league with the Trade Federation.
Dooku betrays him. His own ship fires at his ship he's on, and then he saves him. And gives him his robotic body, and basically says I can send you against the Republic to the people who've done this to you and your people.
Yeah. And some of Grievous's memories are implanted. It's hinted at in Labyrinth of Evil, because his mind's not all there anymore because he's basically a sack of organs and a brain.
Really, they only used Ahmad Best for his voice act?
Because it does not sound like Ahmad Best. I mean, there's some of it you can tell it's him, but others he must be phoning it in. The slave story arc's bad. The Abeloth story arc is only good because of Fate of the Jedi.
You hate it. I don't mind it because again, I've read Fate of the Jedi.
It's so fucking stupid in Clone Wars. It's handled so poorly.
Well, basically, it would have been.
It does the same thing that Genndy Tartakovsky's cave scene did in season 2 of Clone Wars, which is done so much so artistically better.
Right, because Genndy Tartakovsky was a big proponent of this writing concept called "show not tell." I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but
Dave Filoni clearly hasn't.
Right. I mean, there's going back to the micro series. There's literally entire episodes where there's maybe a line or two of dialogue at the most, and then it's just 5 minutes of just music and sound effects. And but yeah, Mortis was. You know what would have made the Mortis arc the best? Feel free to disagree with me, but the Mortis arc would have been the best arc in all of the Clone Wars if the daughter didn't revive Ahsoka when she died.
Yeah, it would have been consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no consequences, which is the biggest problem of it, and they don't remember it happening at the end. Yeah. That was stupid, too. Also, every time Anakin and Dooku would fight was stupid. I hated that. I hated that with a passion.
Or every time they captured Grievous or Dooku.
Obi-Wan would fight Grievous for the umpteenth time. Although they took some measures to make sure Anakin never ran into Grievous. So at least they didn't fuck that up. Also, the carbon freezing thing in that Tarkin storyline.
Well, again, I have a subtle retcon.
You've made the retcon for them for that. But I remember being so disgusted with that. And the fact that that's done twice, because it's also done in the comic Shipyards of Doom, which is a spin-off of that show. I think one of the Clone Wars novels actually has a Callistia cameo in it.
Does it? Maybe.
Yeah. I want to say either Wild Space or No Prisoners has Callistia shows up. I could be wrong.
I think she does because they had Y-wings back then, and the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars did explain why they had Y-wings back then because in the not the Crystal Star, in Planet of Twilight. Dang it.
Is it Children of Jedi?
Children of the Jedi. Yes, I'm getting all my Bad Bantam books mixed together. Yeah, she and her master came in there on a 2-seater Y-wing, which which they apparently had in the Clone Wars. Which the Clone Wars does take care to explain, like, yeah, they had Y-wings. They had 2-seater Y-wings.
We had weird Y-wings, which is annoying when you get into Rebels because they just never explain when Y-wings got updated to what they look. Because in Rebels they look like they do in A New Hope. But in Clone Wars, they look completely different.
Well, no, they just have a little more armor plating around the engine pods.
But it's never explained.
No. They're too heavy, so you take off the armor plate and the engine pods, makes them lighter. Makes them able to go a little bit faster, so they're not completely dead.
Retconning Filoni's work that he should have,
I'm just making observations on what I know about aviation. And logically, this is my problem. I'm trying to think logically when talking about the Clone Wars. That's my problem.
That's your first mistake.
So anyway, let's get into now that we've
or Plo Koon goes into space. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
without a breathing apparatus.
No, he has the hydrogen mask. That was their explanation, that he wears the hydrogen mask and goggles, and because he has both of those, he was able to survive.
Then again, in Rebels, Kanan gets thrown out into space and flies back into the ship without anything on.
Leia does the same
Leia in Last Jedi gets thrown into space, frozen in space, and then flies back into the bridge of the ship. So clearly Disney doesn't care about how space works and what a human body goes through when it gets thrown into space. Speaking of memes, there's like a 7-second video of that scene where like as she reaches out and like as she starts moving over, it's like the PewDiePie, but can you do this thing? That place. Have you seen the shooting stars meme of that? Yes, I have. It's beautiful. I've also seen the shootings of that, and like there's the one where oh, that's a different one. Stars from Revenge of the Sith when he like does this spiral thing. Yeah, and then there's one of Anakin when he does his flip. If you underestimate my power, and then it does it. There's one from Force Awakens where Kylo Ren force pulls an officer so he can choke him. Mm-hmm. That's in there. I think that's it. By the way, things that cannot be unseen in Return of the Jedi, when Vader tells Luke that Obi-Wan has taught you well, it's literally when Luke is standing up on the catwalk while Vader is standing. Literally, when Luke has the high ground on Vader, he mentions that Obi-Wan has taught you well. And that's why he only throws his lightsaber. Exactly, because like I'm not falling for that again. Although he does lose an arm. Well, later in the fight. Again, that's 2 less limbs than he lost the last time he tried to fight someone who had the high ground. Let's be honest. Vader gets wrecked on a regular basis when he gets in a lightsaber fight. That's established in the EU. I mean, look at Force Unleashed. Yeah, well, actually, wasn't the the Force Unleashed video game isn't canon. Wasn't the novel that Merrick only won because he was better with like actual Force powers? But I think he still gashes the top of Vader's head, and that's how he gets that scar. I think that's still in the book. No, that was the Purge comics when like eight Jedi basically. Yeah. 8 Jedi like 8v1'd him. And he still killed.
He still killed them all.
Everyone. He forced through his severed arm with a knife in it and gutted someone. That happened.
Someone attacked him with the Cortos's blade, and he just snaps her neck with his bare hands or his
with his thumb.
Yeah, it's just like crack.
It's like the Predator in Alien vs. Predator. It grabs when the chest burster, he catches it, and he just snaps it with his thumb, which is the only good part of that movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, how else are you going to kill an alien? You try to cut into it, and its acid blood's going to kill you. You got to snap its neck.
Obviously, you got to punch it in the face.
Mm-hmm.
They did some of that in that movie too, but we're getting off subject. I mean,
so now that we've actually talked
why we hate it and what was good about it, do you think
Let's talk about it coming back?
It shouldn't come back. There's nothing to talk about. That's the biggest problem with Clone Wars is it ran out of steam, like around season 3. Because season 3 is when they stopped releasing them in like. They did like prequel episodes to previous episodes. They just ran out of steam.
Well, because we have the lovely Force and Destiny retcon right here. Get this book; it has the retcon. I don't mind it coming back because A, it's more when it's Disney canon, and B, even if they do bring Legends things in, it's essentially S canon within the Legends continuity. It does make some weird things, but I'm happy for the thousands, apparently, of fans who actually like the Clone Wars. And I don't, but to what Jeremy said, it depends on what it is. Is this going to be okay, we're going to take 1 to 2 seasons to properly wrap this show up, fix all the problems, close out all the story arcs so everything makes sense going into Revenge of the Sith? Or is it going to be this is going to be another 6 seasons of bullcrap that we can't possibly fit in this small space of time?
Yeah.
If it's the former, I'm all for it. If it's the latter, why?
Honestly, there's not much left to wrap up. And
well, I guess
that they haven't wrapped up in the new canon.
Well, putting everyone and everything into like their Revenge of the Sith starting points, essentially.
So I don't see why they couldn't do, if they insist on doing this, since they clearly are, how they couldn't just do this in 1 season. Which basically,
well, they had
here's what I'd like to see then, since they're going to do this.
It's
Number
only
one,
12 episodes. Okay.
Number 1, wrap up the Cad Bane Boba Fett story that was leaked online that they put on that. Let's see that. Maybe a little bit from Dark Disciple with Ventress's fate, which we all know what happened with that if you've read Dark Disciple or if you watched any spoiler review like I have.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, because I know the spoiler, and I was like, wait, you haven't read that. Did you know? Do you know? Okay, yeah.
God, what else? Wrap up anything Maul related that wasn't in Death Sentence or Son of Dathomir, or if you want to include those, go ahead and do it. But set up Maul for where he is in the Solo movie. Maybe set up the Inquisitors and Rebels, who they were as Jedi. But basically, I don't give 2 flying fucks what Obi-Wan and Anakin are doing. And I definitely don't care what Ahsoka's doing. I mean, if you want, find somewhere where she is when the purge happens, why she's not affected by the purge.
Well, I mean, I assume that since she left the Order, she wasn't with Clone Troopers when the purge happened.
But why she wasn't hunted? Because the Inquisitors were, in the Darth Vader comic, it's established they're hunting anyone with Force powers at this point because they're running out of Jedi. So Yeah, maybe Thrawn shows up. Yeah, maybe we get the Anakin Thrawn storyline that's been hinted at in the Thrawn novel.
Aren't they doing that in Allegiance?
Yeah, I'm assuming they will be doing that. It's probably going to be more Thrawn Vader, I would assume.
No, the cover and all the stuff that they're showing shows like a pre-cyborg Anakin.
That's the Comic-Con exclusive cover.
Okay.
Yeah, the main cover is Thrawn in his Grand Admiral uniform and Darth Vader behind him. Which that comes out in a couple days. I'll be actually, next time we have a Legends podcast, I'll have a Star Wars book to talk about in what we're reading. Yeah, that's not a whole lot I want from it. Dylan's not going to watch it, I'm almost certain, because it's new canon.
No.
I don't blame you. It's not your canon.
Yeah, I thought they were going to do 2 seasons because they said that they had season 7 and 8 already written before it got canceled. I thought they were just going to do those 2 seasons.
Well, also they
finish up
second half of season 6. The Lost Missions is only half of season 6. It was the stuff they had completely animated, or was close enough to done. If I'm not mistaken, Dark Disciple was part of season 6.
Now there's a conspiracy theorist in me that's saying that they're only reviving Clone Wars, so people have to sign up for Disney's streaming service.
Ooh, that could be it.
Because isn't it coming out online only or something?
I don't know. I haven't looked that far into it. It's Clone Wars.
Yeah, can you fact check us on this? I know you're going to. You've been doing it this entire conversation. I've been watching.
Which is good. I have not been watching. I should be, though. And someone asked, since they're bringing back Clone Wars, do you think they're bringing back Legends? I'm saying it's probably on the horizon that they'll release stuff that's done. That's what it's looking like at this point, is that Disney is getting lazy with their content.
Mm-hmm. Which is whammo, at least under this leadership. And it's not just Kathleen Kennedy, it's a lot of other people at if you've been on social media, especially Twitter, talking with other Lucasfilm employees and how they've kind of treated. I don't know. I don't know if I really want them continuing Legends at this point.
At this, in all honesty, I just want stuff that's done that creators won't sue. Like, I don't think William C. Ditz will sue for Escape from Dagu. That would be nice to have. Since it's fucking referenced and there's no story for it, I would like to understand that reference in other novels. That'd be nice. Then that's a complete novel. Yeah, I don't... The story group needs to go through serious changes if they're going to continue Legends in any sort of quality manner.
Mm-hmm.
Because the quality of stuff lately has been very lackluster overall, specifically in keeping in continuity, because they're getting lazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of quotes by Pablo. A lot of tweets about like certain continuity, and like I've seen a lot in the dual canon, the people who follow both canons, that what was the most recent one, the Star Wars annual, and how it just flat out contradicted with
the Darth Vader annual. Apparently,
Darth Vader annual.
I haven't read it yet, but I will be checking that out soon. Well, the Crate one shot contradicts Leia, Princess of Alderaan, and Jason Fry, I think on his own, tried to retcon it in the Last Jedi novel. It didn't really work, but it was a nice try. Because, Jason Fry's good at weaving continuity.
Yeah, he's like James Lucena.
Yeah. But even it's difficult. I think it's more difficult mainly because people don't the story group doesn't seem to care.
It's that, and I also think a lot of it is how many new authors that they're getting. Like the old authors, at least majority of them had enough of a respect to not only to make their things as adherable to each other as possible, but when they came up, like try to on their own, like you said, Jason Friday, because he's one of the old guard authors, actually fix some of the retcons themselves in their writing. Whereas I haven't read any of the new books, so I don't know, but I'm seeing a lot of new authors in the new canon, and I'm not sure that they have that same instinct to do that anymore.
The thing is, the novels are so sporadic; they're not referencing one another too often. Delilah S. Dawson and Daniel Day Olson, the writers of Phasma and Last Shot, both reference Aftermath. And Lost Stars, Claudia Gray sort of references and Aftermath Empire's End, which is Chuck Wendig's book. Both take place during the Battle of Jakku. Those are their climaxes. But they don't really interact with one another. The characters don't come into play in those.
Yeah, Infinity Nexus, you're correct on that. Pablo Hidalgo, as one of the story group members, who is the one to oversee the canon's continuity and is pretty much the main one. Other than Leland Shee, who is also there, but she is kind of...
he's not the voice of the story group. That seems to be Pablo Hidalgo at this point.
It's the Pablo Hidalgo. Again, from internally, I don't know what's happening, but from externally looking at how they're coming out of this, especially on like Twitter and stuff, it definitely seems like the Pablo Hidalgo show.
Yeah, pretty much. When it comes to continuity, they reference the Clone Wars, Dave Filoni's Clone Wars, and that's it.
The movies, don't they? At least,
of course, the movies.
Yeah.
But I mean, Rogue. The big continuity thing with this group, which is cool, which I never thought we'd see, is I saw Guerreras from the Clone Wars, and they brought him into the movie Rogue One. That's cool. That wouldn't really have happened necessarily in that capacity when George Lucas had the company, but I mean, we got a little bit of some. Quinlan Voss has a cameo in Phantom Menace, and Ayla Secura and all the Jedi Council members, were in the Marvel not the Marvel, the Dark Horse stuff. Mm-hmm. But they don't really have speaking roles. So, yeah. It's just different.
Battlefront 2 references most of the stories set after Return of the Jedi. The 2017 one, not the good one.
Battlefront 2 camper. God, now I have to remember this awful game. It actually didn't have that bad of a story. That's the one with Inferno Squad.
Did they actually go to Jakku in that one?
Yeah, that's the finale of the game. Is you fight on. Well, actually, technically, no. There's an epilogue episode and a DLC, but the main storyline ends at the Battle of Jakku. But you kind of interact with Temmin Wexley, aka Snap Wexley from Force Awakens, and he's also the character in Aftermath. And he's flying around doing his own thing, and Wedge is there too. But there's not a whole lot there. Also, it kind of ties into Shattered Empire, the comic, in a couple ways. One, you interact with Leia when she's taking back Naboo from the Empire, and they have those weird tornado things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, they did reveal two novels set before the Phantom Menace and between the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. We talked about them earlier.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about them. Yeah, there's not really. Other than that, they kind of play in their own sandboxes.
Gone with the Bantam days.
Gone were the Bantam days. Gone were the days when someone decided, hey, Dark Empire's canon.
Okay. that's literally their everyone's reaction is like, all right, I guess the comics are canon now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin J. Anderson.
Kevin J. Anderson's like, yeah, Dark Empire.
No, it wasn't just Dark. It wasn't just Dark Empire. It's like, so yeah, it's like, yeah, Dark Empire's canon. Also, what was it? Tales of the Jedi. Yeah, that's canon too. It's like, not only did you have to bring Dark Empire into this, but you had to bring Tales of the Jedi into this. I mean, what are we going to do? Making continuity 37,000.
Those UK comic strips, those are canon.
That only Matt has?
I have those. That's the classic Star Wars.
Oh, okay. What was there's one thing. There's one really niche thing Matt has that's like a promotional, it's like a promotional something. It's like a promotional toy, but on like the cardboard back, there's a short story for it that like takes place sometime in the expanded universe that's like canon, and Matt has that. I can't remember what it is.
Instruction manual for the troop transport for the original Star Wars that has a comic on how the Jawa sandcrawler got a hole shot in it.
And that's canon. Then he has it because he has to have everything. There's like, I bet what you need to do if you ever want to troll Matt, tell him there's like a legend short story that was only released in Indonesia and is in like what do they speak there? Like, I think it's Bali, I think.
I don't know. But it's like those Hungarian Han Solo novels.
I know that.
He's tempted to learn
Hungarian. He owns them, by the way. He owns all 4 of them. I've seen them.
And no one can read them. But
they speak Indonesian.
We don't even know if they weren't even officially licensed novels.
Malay,
we
Dutch,
don't even know if they're
and Portuguese.
Canon. Okay. But I mean, like, there's other things. Like, I guess I'm going to take credit for this. I convinced Matt that other, what was it? Devil Worlds is canon.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how long that took? I never thought I'd see the day where Devil Worlds showed up in Matt's expanded universe. It's because of my weird obsession with Alan Moore comics that I'm like, Alan Moore Star Wars has to be canon.
Oh, yeah.
And I used the term, I said it was other space, and that other space can explain several things.
So yeah, by the way, check out Matt's expanded universe. He's somewhere in the middle of the Dark Times era. I'm not exactly sure where.
Rebellion era.
You got to Rebellion?
How are you that behind?
You got to Rebellion? He's gone to A New Hope?
Yeah, that Devil Worlds takes place between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. Yeah,
I thought he was still in Dark Times.
He reviewed Allegiance. I think Choices of One already.
Look this up.
Yeah, I know he reviewed Allegiance because he gave it a bad review.
That was pre, wasn't it?
What?
Allegiance? Wasn't one of them pre A New Hope?
No, they have Luke and Han in them.
You're right. It's after. Scoundrels is the pre one.
No, Scoundrels happens right after A New Hope.
This is why I don't need the 3-in-1 because I have it in order on my bookshelf, but I have the 3-in-1 original trilogy one, and it's just I just have it at the end where Return of the Jedi should be. So
Which,
I can't
by
tell.
the way, I don't. Do you understand why Scoundrels got written? Because I don't get it. I don't know how it got approved.
It got written because they wanted a heist story, and they wanted a chronological first appearance of Winter.
Is Winter in it?
Yeah, I'm almost certain that's her chronological first appearance.
Huh. Because it makes no sense why Han and Lando are together in it.
Fan service?
If you've ever read the third Han Solo book, there's something that happens between Han and Lando that explains why they're not on good terms when Han shows up in Cloud City in Empire Strikes Back. And Zahn wrecked that. And then did something stupid so that they still be mad at each other, which I think is a disservice to Lando. But I will be reviewing that in the not too distant future. I do plan on reading Scoundrel soon.
Yeah, he did Scoundrels a while ago, 192. What is he on now? Legions was 205. I saw he was on 240, I think.
I think so. No, he's on 217. I think that's the one I just watched. There's so much. I didn't realize how dense.
218. He did a West End Games.
Yeah, he's reviewing the Galaxy of Fear stuff. He's in the middle of that. Thank you, Nightwing.
Well, and his Star Wars media versus the fans. Did we talk about that one? Did you see that one?
Yes, I did. I don't watch a whole lot of YouTube right now. Sorry to anyone who makes a lot of YouTube.
We don't have any questions. Dark Snowy just asked, "What were our thoughts on the Clone Wars coming back, and is it good for Legends?" So we literally just answered that. So
yeah. So, what did you think of it, Dylan?
Matt's video?
Yeah.
I generally agree with him.
I do,
because
too.
I don't know what it is about the entertainment industry recently. They've seemed to have forgotten this core aspect of the customer is always right.
Yeah, seriously. It's
like
it's baffling.
It's like, okay, people are upset with you because they are paying you money and getting an inferior product. I mean, if you don't want their money, then okay, I get it. But if you want their money, why aren't you like listening to their concern and trying to address them? You know, I worked at an auto shop in automotive, but it was essentially retail. I had to deal with customer concerns, and customers yelling at me for something. It's like, I mean, even if they're objectively wrong, I have to do something to try to appease them, unless they're just being flat out unreasonable. But even then, there's like that line of, I mean, you're wrong, but I've got to suck up to you because you're always here. I don't know, whatever happened to that. And it's kind of like what I said last week of, I think the creators don't understand why people criticize. And it's not because they hate your work. It's because they like what you're working with, and they just want it to be good. And when it's not good, they try to find out why it's good, why it's not good, and what it can do to get better. It may not seem like it, but your critics are trying to help you. So, yeah.
First of all, Infinity Nexus, I've never liked a Sonic game. I think they're very overrated. But I'm in the minority there. Dylan, have you ever played a good Sonic game?
I haven't played any Sonic games.
Okay. I find that they want you to go fast, but they also want you to explore.
And like Sonic means.
It doesn't balance properly. Even the old ones for like the Genesis, I don't like those. I don't like any of them. And no, I have not seen the Shazam or Aquaman trailers because I don't give a flying fuck about DC movies anymore.
If they make a Static Shock movie, I might see it.
The point is, most people like The newest one. Yeah, I get where you're getting at, Infinity Nexus. I just want to throw my unpopular opinion out there just to rile people up, because that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan, did you know that I made a video saying that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was going to be better than Skyrim, and it upset a bunch of people? I legit made a video back in high school about that on my old channel, and so many people got so butthurt.
To be fair, Call of Duty 3 was the first of the bad Call of Duties. Like,
No.
No. I'll defend the Call of Duty franchise on this. Between Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, first Modern Warfare to Black Ops, it was on the high of the gaming industry. And then Modern Warfare 3 came out, and it kind of went down a little bit, and then every game just like started tanking until we got like Advanced Super Combat Future Warfighter
until we
7.
got to the point where they don't trust their fan base to understand what Roman numerals mean, so they just put tallies.
Exactly.
But no, I'm a classic FPS person. Your Doom, your Quake, Duke Nukem 3D. That's my jam. I like challenge with my FPS, and I like health systems. I don't like regenerative health, and that's what Modern Warfare did. As it's called, the COD bomb, which would be Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, ruined the FPS. It's an okay game in and of itself, but to me, Call of Duty went down with Modern Warfare 2 is when it became super easy. A super easy game. Black Ops was decent because it's a Vietnam game.
Which is like something we almost never get except for Battlefield Vietnam that came out for like the PC only.
And isn't that good of a game? Yeah, no. I wanted a Call of Duty that was Vietnam, and I got it with Black Ops. And then Modern Warfare 3 came, and it was terrible. And I played maybe a little bit of other games since, and they're all exactly the same from what I've seen.
Yeah. The main Call of Duty I played a lot was World at War because I was all about zombies on Darius. That was my jam back in the day. Man, that camp, I practically, in middle school, I practically lived on the catwalk on Darius, camping on the catwalk with bouncing betties, a PPSH 41 Pack-a-Punch, and either a ray gun or a Wonder Waffle Pack-a-Punch. So that was my jam.
My jam was throwing tomahawks at people's RC cars.
Mm.
I used to be able to time it well so I'd blow them up.
My jam was in the winter throwing eggs into people's chimneys when they had their...
Nightwing, your unpopular opinions, like, you hate food? Do you just hang out with an IV? I dig that. If I could, I'd have a Fruit Punch Rockstar IV right here.
I have a joke. I'm not going to make it because there's someone watching, I think. Anyway.
Do we have anything else? What are you reading, Dylan?
I am reading Rogue Planet.
How are you liking it?
It's okay. I'm 100 pages in, or almost 100 pages in. We still haven't gotten to Sonoma Zakat yet. So I'm getting a little worried because that's a third of the book, and I'm not at the part that I want to be at yet. Because if you don't know, this book introduces an extremely key plot point late in New Jedi Order, and not only ending the war, but like actually ending the war and like solving the entire galaxy's all the galaxy's problems. Basically, the MacGuffin of New Jedi Order is introduced in this book. And a lot of events that happen that become important, and I want to get to those things, but it's taken a third of the book, and I'm not there yet. I'm a little upset about it, but otherwise it's good. This is actually a book that we have given out several times in Twinsons fundraisers because it's a short book, only about 330 pages, which isn't much. And the words are kind of big, so it's not like an intimidating read. And it mainly features a young Anakin, so it's like relatable to the kids. And now that I'm reading it, I'm realizing, yeah, this was a good choice for this book that we completely arbitrarily picked because of these reasons. Because it actually is. You can't judge this book by the cover. What I'm saying.
How old is Anakin in it?
He is 11. This is a couple years. This is 2 years, I think, after.
So this is before Jedi Quest, is what I'm asking.
Yes.
It was
He's
going.
Yeah, this is 2 years after a Phantom Menace. He's 11,
Okay.
I believe.
So the funny thing about this book is my dad read part of this to me when it came out. So I remember aspects of it, but I don't remember the whole thing. I actually own the copy he read to me. It's part of it was beginnings of my hardcover collection right there. He's 12.
What is my YouTube channel?
Nexus. So he's still Jake Lloyd Anakin, not Hayden Christensen Anakin. What a day. I'm not reading anything still. I'm waiting for Thrawn Alliances to come out. Comes out.
Infinity Nexus, I don't make videos. I have a YouTube account, but I don't do anything with it.
He watches my videos with it.
I watch your videos, and I watch half of Matt's videos, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know how you're that... You have less of a life than I do, and you're that far behind. Because I was behind, I'll be honest, I was behind on Matt's videos for 3 months, and I finally caught up 2 weeks ago.
You just got your first...
Nightwing, thank you, Nightwing.
I am
You're
literally
Dylan's first subscriber.
I'm literally never going to make a video.
No, Dylan, you have to make videos if this channel gets down, so someone can post the Legends podcast on YouTube.
Fine. If
either that or I go back to the JMay channel. Which do you prefer?
The JMay channel, because I'm sure that 12 of them who are still subscribed to you will be more than happy that you're still making content.
Hold the phone. We have to check this. I have to know how many subscribers I have.
Oh my god. Dios mío.
This is good podcast material right here. Oh god, the things I used to make. 76 subscribers.
Wow. I was No, it's more than a 6.
I haven't released a video in 3 years. Although my most viewed video of all time has 53,000 views on here. So
you're almost at Matt Wilkins' numbers there.
Yeah, I know. And it's filmed on an iPod Touch. Kid thrown into a wall bumped up to 1,000 views. That came out 7 years ago. Something I filmed at school. We'll name off some my most popular videos. Most popular, exposing smuts. 53,000 views. Next, DSP Gaming is a wanker. 3,000 views. Third video, me, myself, and Pi watch this video. 1,000 views. Next, kid thrown into wall. 1,000 views. Oh, this is the one I referenced earlier. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim rant. 1,000 views. This is when I said that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was a better game than... oh, God.
Someone in chat asked, what was your old video? I know the name. I just don't remember the numbers.
Let's see. AVGN Horse Again, 900 views. And the list goes on. They were mainly rant videos. Oh, here's one. Pat the NES Punk is a douchebag. I got flagged for that one for bullying.
Oh, back when that was a thing? Hey, remember the old days when only like Viacom and Nintendo and Studio Ghibli were the bad guys who would copy strike videos?
Yeah. Otherwise, he got flagged for cyberbullying. Let's see. What was another? We got a couple. Oh, there's early disc case problems on here.
Yeah, that's your best content.
That's the best content on here. Oh, God, I have long hair. This is awful. This is a horrible... General Lots and his garbage. Actually, I don't mind General Lots. I just didn't like his girlfriend's content that he insisted on being on there at the time.
This is his old channel name. So you can't put links. It doesn't work.
I think I called. I used to call people names on here. Oh,
you already found it. Never mind. This is me searching YouTube and not looking at the chat.
The origins of the Can Rant started on here with what I think of Jenna Marbles.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Does she still do YouTube?
I don't know. Let's look. FPS Russia doesn't make YouTube videos anymore.
Yeah, I knew that. There was a controversy around him a while ago.
Oh, was there? What happened? Oh, Jenna Marbles still makes videos. How embarrassing. They only get a fraction of the views she used to get. I mean, she still gets millions of views, but I mean, compared to her subscribers, it's kind of very sad.
Infinity Nexus, I'll put it in again.
How embarrassing.
Who owns?
Wait, are you putting my YouTube channel in the stream?
Oh, yeah, I am. I 100%. Go back and bask in the glory that is.
God,
that
no.
Is like
no, I tried to distance myself from this.
It's like mid to late 2000s Jeremy.
No, it's early 2010s.
It's early 2010s?
Yeah, most of the content
2011
to 2013.
7 years ago was 20. Yep, 7 years ago was 2011. Now I'm getting old.
God, what a nightmare.
Yeah,
that was when we switched to timeline Silent Night. I thought it was the end of Facebook because of how bad. Do you remember how slow it was when they switched to timeline?
Yeah.
The power of boobs. That's a good video.
Oh, remember your? Did you make a video on the Google Plus thing? I can't remember if you made a Can-Rants on that or not. The Google Plus integration when they forced that on us.
Maybe. I did a lot because I remember ranting about Cosmic Panda when that was the layout. If you remember Cosmic Panda, because
no,
because it limited. You could only do one background, and you couldn't move where your videos were. Now it's all channel 1 layouts, and they're disgusting and all look the same. Used to be YouTube. You could do a little HTML work on like MySpace.
You could actually customize your own YouTube page. I remember those days.
Yeah, what a concept.
I know, right? Back in the classic, back before when Eagle Raptor was actually doing stuff on his own website because he didn't like YouTube. That's how far back I remember YouTube. And like the only Eagle Raptor videos you could find were like the pirated copies. Before that, you had to go like to Newgrounds or Yuko Player.
What a concept! Remember Blip TV?
Oh man, remember Fred?
Yeah, there's a rant on there about Fred because I watched Fred's movie at the time. Have you seen that?
Why? Why did you watch Fred's movie?
It was on Nickelodeon. My sister and I just sat and watched it, and it was one of the worst things I had ever seen.
Was it literally just like...
It's exactly what you'd think a Fred movie would be.
Okay. It's to 10 sections for some reason.
I mean, I've seen worse now. I mean, if you've ever seen Evil Bong 2, it's a lot worse than the Fred movie. This is coming from the guy who's like, yeah, let's have a Death Wish marathon and review him on Backpedalers podcast. I'm still lobbying for that, people.
Well, I've seen Trolls 2. So
Troll 2 is a gem, dude. Troll 2 is a funny movie.
Have you seen Thanksgiving?
Yeah, and then Thanksgiving 3?
The Search for Thanksgiving 2? Yes.
Yeah.
That was the real gem of the Thanksgiving 1 at least had a plot, but Thanksgiving 3, I mean...
It's unwatchable. I don't think I finished it.
It literally is.
Let's see. Let's name off some other good J-May videos. Stupid iPod. I don't even know what that was about. It's 50 seconds long. It's got to be good.
Oh man, back when you can actually make 50-second videos on YouTube and not like have the algorithm
Have a heart
completely
attack.
destroy you.
Oh god. Hey, there's videos done with this webcam and they're all laggy and disgusting because I was running on a computer that had Windows XP.
Oh, there's this one. I have a new channel from 3 years ago.
Yeah. It's this channel we're on right now, the better channel. God, these people are having a fucking blast, I can tell.
Well, no, they're with us. Why did you want to decrease the population?
Oh god, I forgot that was a video.
Yeah, they're having fun going through the old catalog with us, I think.
Oh, why Tom Clancy shouldn't produce more video games?
Oh my gosh, Jeremy, I don't mean this, but there are some shots here where you look like Coconut Head from Ned's Declassified.
I know! Dude, my neckbeard's so nasty.
Tips Fedora, lady.
Dude, look at my fucking shaggy Scooby-Doo hair.
Oh man, this top tier titles right here. WoW AVGN.
Oh, it's one of the many times AVGN's fans attacked me.
Yep, there's the Fred rant video.
There's Fred. The protesters on Wall Street do not deserve to be on the cover of Time magazine. That's a good one. I don't even remember that was a thing. Oh yeah.
My thoughts on the Twilight Saga.
I don't remember that.
It's a 2-minute video.
Did I even finish the Twilight Saga? Oh, I got that was a rant request.
Okay.
To get those occasionally. The Dirty. That was a good one. That was another nasty exposing smuts website.
The past garbage that kids listen to.
I don't even remember.
All right. I've got a new plan.
Some of these are response videos. Remember when you used to be able to post a response video on someone else's video? That was a thing.
Yeah, now you just have to post a response video and hope that they see it.
Oh yeah, I had a bunch of problems with Mr. Repzion because he's an asshole. Let's see here.
All right. I'm going on a completely different adventure. I'm in the let's look at Matt's old videos.
God, don't. Yes, I actually do.
All right, there's one video from 10 years ago called Harry Potter Nomicon, where apparently there's a series. There's 5 of them where he goes to Harry Potter Nomicon. Good one.
Which was the Superman video?
Ultimate Classics. Oh, the Super Gem. Where was it? What was that video's title? Wasn't Honeymoon.
Okay, so the kid thrown into the wall is my friend Michael. Not the one that's been on Backpedalers and stuff. It's another friend also named Michael. We used to just throw him around because that's what he liked to do. Like one time he and I had faked like a locker fight that's actually ended up turning into a brawl in the locker room with a bunch of people because he jumped on my back and dented my locker, so I threw him. And then, yeah, it was a good time. We went to a very terrible school.
Yeah, so go to Matt Wilkins' channel and just search Sing Along. You will not be disappointed. Guaranteed.
This is what happens when Geeks Attic decides I'm going to leave before we talk about Clone Wars.
Yeah, we just get into watching Matt's old videos, like Superman in the Classroom, which has 470,000 views.
It's so great, dude.
And they're singing in the classroom with a measly 7K views, and dancing in the classroom, which has 7.4K views.
Remember his lip syncing videos? Have you seen those?
Yeah, that's what I said. The sing-alongs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they're called the sing-alongs.
A to use the can. How random.
Paid to...
That his brother? I think it is.
Which one? Which one of Matt's
No,
brother?
right?
When we went to Matt's house before we went to Gen Con, we met a ton of his family.
We met all 14 of his brothers and his one sister.
No, we didn't meet one of his brothers.
Oh, that's right. We only met 13 of his 14 brothers and his one sister.
We actually almost got shot by his sister-in-law.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, let's talk about that. It's one of my favorite.
He did a Cribs vid. Yes, Matt did an entire series of Cribs videos.
God, I forgot about those.
1 through 6. Go to Matt Wilkins' channel. Type in Cribs 1 through 6.
That's why Matt needs to vacation to my house so he can do Cribs number 7.
And then it's all his board game review stuff.
But old YouTube was fun because no one knew what was going to be like the standard for content. Especially if you get into like the 2006 stuff, like what a lot of Matt's old videos are. Mm-hmm. By the time like I joined and actually started making content, we were on what I call Gen 2 YouTube, which was when the YouTube whoring began and the money started to flow in. So then you had your standards for what's like acceptable for content. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, that's when YouTube suffered quite a bit in creativity. You still have creativity, but not like that. Not like how it was in 2006. Of course, now we have a garbage website that isn't. It just sucks.
That's literally trying to drive its content creators away.
Yeah.
At every turn.
Like,
I keep telling the people.
Every time Dylan and I do a Legends podcast, Dylan's like, why do you still upload videos to YouTube? And the answer is because would most of you follow me to another platform?
All YouTube needs to officially die is a viable replacement. As soon as something else comes out that does almost exactly the same thing that YouTube does, that has a big drive as well, YouTube is dead.
Well, the thing is, there's other video sharing sites out there. Like there's Vimeo.
Yeah, Vimeo. There's a Mixer and Twitch. Well, Twitch is kind of the bigger one.
But Twitch is for live streaming.
Yeah, live streaming.
And that's what, like, things like the Google Hangout is dead. We get that. We get that what we do is a very dead art. I only do it on this for convenience sake. But the plan is in the not too distant future to switch to Twitch for these podcasts. FYI. Dylan really is pushing for that.
Well, I'm kind of more ambiguous. I'm more pushing for the Twin Sons people to okay, YouTube is not the future. We don't need to be investing time into YouTube. Because by the time we get big, it's going to be dead.
Well, let's wrap this rambly.
Yeah, now that we're in the 2-hour mark, we spent the last 30 minutes talking about old videos, old YouTube.
I don't even know what I'll call this one. Comic-Con news and nonsense is probably what this is going to be called. I still have to adjust sound levels for the last podcast before we put it on YouTube.
Featuring 50% of Geeks Attic.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice to finally have Matthew on again, if it only was for half a podcast. All right. Shall we cut it there?
Yep, because we don't really have any questions. Or from last time, I should say.
Nah. All right. I hope you all enjoyed this. I did. All right. Bye, everyone.